What you doing, beloved?
Attention, attention, my black brothers. What I want y'all to do right now is take out the do-rag, the silky, tie it down. I want to see the waves glistening. If you got nappy hair, pick it. Don't let nobody discourage you.
Ariel.
Black boy, black boy.
So I saw or heard this really cool, not cool, like very inspirational quote through, I think, the Grapevine. They have like YouTube shows and things like that, like with real great conversations about like all types of things. But this episode I saw, they were talking about beauty. And the question or the comment they said, not the question, the comment they said is, we go to therapy to fix things that white supremacy told us were broken, when in reality it wasn't.
Mm.
And that really like resonated with me because we do like literally go to therapy to fix things that we quote unquote deem or want to work through things that we or society feels is really wonky and weird, when in reality it's not. And I was like, it's because of the motherfucking white people, and they ass is always wanting us to be something that we really cannot be. So they always find a way to try to control stuff.
No, yeah, I think about that often whenever I am remembering that like being treated for mental health is so that we can like function in the world. And
Yeah.
it's like I always think like, damn, like what if the world worked in the way that I needed to, that I didn't have to change, but it doesn't.
And that's the crazy thing, is we feel like we are not able to function because society has said we're not able to function because we have mentally told ourselves that we cannot function. And
Yeah.
it all goes back down to the damn white man.
Yeah, I mean,
Always
but
the damn.
like there are actual realities like granted, like there are barriers to this because of like, again, I feel like I often mention psychosis, but I mean, like there's one thing to be detached from reality, but then there's another thing
Yeah.
to sort of like have to get your mind wrapped around the like very real consequences of white supremacy, which might make you feel like, oh, you're not enough of anything, whatever it is, to be who you want to be or to be successful.
Yeah. I think it was definitely coming from this like mindset of like beauty and like what we deem as attractive and what we deem as very much what we believe or what society believes is like a standard that we need to uphold, that sometimes we just physically can't because our way our bodies are how we are created. um it's something that's always interesting to me. But here, listen, you can't tell me that I ain't good looking, bitch. What is up, everybody? It is your boy Lord Devery,
And I'm Derwin King.
and welcome back to another episode of That Black Boy Joy, where we create a space where black boys can be themselves.
And so much more.
Y'all thought we forgot about y'all. Nope. Y'all, we back. We back. Okay. We took some time, but we are back. Girly, hi. How are
Hello.
you?
I'm good. I have an upper respiratory infection.
Oh my God. Really? Like, did you go to the doctor and like get the diagnosis, or you just like, no, you do?
Well, I knew I did, but I went to the doctor today. She confirmed. I was like, so I have an upper respiratory. Never mind. I'm not a doctor. You can tell me. And I told her, oh, what happened? She said, you have an upper respiratory infection. I was like, yeah, okay, I thought so.
So when I like a couple of weeks ago, stayed at a friend's house and literally knew I had like a cold because like I sleep with my mouth open occasionally when I'm like drunk or shit faced it, and their fan was blowing, and I just was like drunk and passed out, and literally woke up and could not talk, and I
Yeah.
therefore developed a cold. It wasn't. I'm getting over it, but oh my gosh, I hope you
Yeah,
got
that's
your.
actually what happened. It's like if you're dehydrated and so I was in Memphis, of course. So the air's a little drier there. I was sleeping in front of an air conditioner.
Yeah.
So the collective of those things put me in a position. I'm the only person who, of the people who went to Memphis, including the people who came from Nashville, that feel sick. So there's that.
Oh Jesus. I listen, I get it. This the way this is getting nicer outside. Our immune systems is like all over the place. It is crazy, but I am Glad you're here. I'm glad you are. Are you feeling better since you have medicine?
Oh, I haven't taken. I mean, I've been taking the over the counter stuff, but I have to go pick up what she prescribed me.
Okay, never mind. We're gonna table that. We're gonna circle back for next episode about how you're feeling. What um what brought you joy this weekend or week? We haven't done this in a while, by the way, which I literally forgot that we used to do this. And I'm like, no, we're gonna bring it back. But what has brought you joy this week, Darwin?
Um, I would say no, something. Okay, well, if I just think about today, because it's really hard for me to think back all the way to Monday.
Okay, let's do it in
Um,
present.
then
Mindfulness.
I had Yaya's chicken, Yaya's kitchen today, which is they have gyros. Oh my god, they're so good. I love gyros so much. I got a chicken one because I don't know if I told y'all. I feel like I did. Then I'm back to chicken. So yeah, I had that today and I was really so happy about it. I'm also really happy to know that I don't like have some underlying fatal disease.
Yes.
I thought I
Oh,
had like
girl.
fungus in my lungs, girl. I was terrified.
Yeah, I get that, girl. I have my health anxiety. I literally calculated how much I've like spent over the past couple of months, and I'm like,
Uh,
girl,
Seeing like healthcare professionals.
yes. I'm like,
Yikes.
girl. What I've currently been dealing with my anxieties, I feel like I had testicular pain, so I thought it was something else, and no, it's not.
Yeah, it just
And
happens.
yeah, I know. And then also, like, I have to do a sleep study for a couple of nights because I have trouble sleeping, which probably just deals with my anxiety. So I like sat in the car today and was like, girl, you gotta figure some stuff out. You gotta, work through that. But
Nah, but that testicular pain thing that will actually get you tripped up because it's like,
it
oh, hey, what's going
I'm
on?
like, girl, I'm like, is my pants too tight? I'm like,
That could be it. That really could be it. I mean, we wear some tight ass pants, so
we do. And I was like, but I've been good. I have been busy these last couple of weeks. I literally, as y'all knew, I was in Indiana for a while with my friend Tone, and I now am about to head somewhere else, so I had to plan for that in the next couple of weeks.
is it Miami, New Orleans?
No, New Orleans, I'm doing that, and then also like just like keeping my trying to really stay with kicking it with myself.
Yeah.
Um, as much as I can right now because I realize I've definitely been in other spaces because of like my anxiety and my depression and all that. So now I'm like, girl, no, let's work on it together. And what has brought me joy this week or weekend, a week, I'm definitely going to be in the present because I definitely need to work on being really in the space. Is my therapy session this morning was really, really great. Got a lot of clarity on some things and then also like really wanting to practice using the feelings wheel more um and I talked about this with you before we came on was just like understanding our feelings then because of our feelings our behaviors and our thoughts and all of that stuff and how I can like reframe some of those things which I'm going to probably get into a little later of like some of the scenarios or stuff that I've been through which my thoughts have been like, girl, what is going on? But I am good because of that. And of course, because I get to see your lovely face, girly. I'm like,
You.
but we are going to dive into, so we're going to talk about a lot of things in our Let's Get Comfortable, space. So we're going to tell you all when we get there how we're feeling. This conversation can go all types of ways, but you're going to just vibe with us. But of course, like we always do, we're going to get right into our Black Boy Joy Spotlight for the week. And this week's Black Boy Joy Spotlight is a man by the name of Ryan A. Mitchell, aka the Slay God. And I apologize for saying man, this is a person. Their name is Ryan A. Mitchell, aka the Slay God. Ryan is a radio and TV host and a content creator who has worked with GLAAD, MTV, BET, and LGT Show. He recently interviewed Demi Lovato on Audacity and hosted Out Loud's Rising Voices concert in LA that featured Adam Lambert, Vincent, Kim Petras, and many other talented artists. He is Black, he is queer, and he is the face and voice that we need to see on our screens right now. I really enjoy. He also was a part of the conversation with Sherry Pie on the Tamron Hall show. Um,
Did you say that their pronouns are they, there, and them, or is it what is it?
I, I'm not sure, so I'm saying
Oh,
they.
okay, okay, okay. No, I thought that you knew that they were they. Okay, that's
No,
fine.
I because my mind, and it's sometimes hard to like re-register, which I am working on, is immediately saying boy or man, even this is that Black Boy Joy Spotlight, but that is not people's pronouns that are, so I'm like, I said man in the beginning, but I was like, they or them, which is just a universal one.
Well, there are no pronouns listed here, so okay. I mean, I guess you get what you get at that point.
Right. And if those are not your pronouns, we apologize. I apologize. But yeah, amazing interviewer, amazing content out there. I was really proud to like see him at raising the Out Loud's Raising Voices concert in LA. Like I just like love seeing us hosting those queer spaces. It was at one of the stadiums as well in LA, which I was like, come on, get up there and all of those things. So shout out to the Slay God, and you also check him out on Instagram at the Slay God. That is TheSlayGawd for amazing content and interviews,
He's
honey.
so handsome.
Yes. I think yesterday he was out with a lot of people that we spotlighted on the show too. I think there
Oh,
was
nice.
someone's birthday as well. I think Kaylin Allen, Archie J, and then the lady sitter. So I think they were all out there kicking it, cackling, and those things. But let's get into some of our rants and what's going on in the world right now, honey. So last week or a couple of weeks ago, In the Heights. First of all, are you into musicals?
Um,
Nope.
I
Never
like to
mind.
be in them. No, no, no. Like there are musicals that I love, and then I don't know. I go back and forth with musicals. I gotta be honest.
Trash. I love musicals. I
I know
am
you
a
do.
musical junkie, and HBO had In the Heights released on HBO 2 weeks ago, which I love the film. I've enjoyed the musical. I enjoyed what was being presented. However, there has been criticism about there not being representation of Afro Latinos in the movie based on the Washington Heights area that is in the like New York area, which has Afro Latinos in that space. So there has been a lot of criticism and critiques about that representation. I will say, to my knowledge, in the Broadway musical, there were not a lot of Afro Latinos that were main characters. There were ones that were background dancers. There were, as we saw in the movie, and also we have Benny, whose character typically is can play whatever whoever it wants. And I think HBO one, it was a black guy. But yeah, I was so surprised that movie was getting some criticism. But I understand in the Afro Latino community, like understanding that representation is very important. I was like, whew.
Yeah, so I saw I can remember her name. She's an actress that was on Oz. I really Rita Moreno.
Hmm.
I saw her talking to, I want to say, Kimmel, and they were just talking about this film, and she mentioned the criticism because she was protecting Lin Manuel. It was Miranda.
Yeah, Lynn Miranda. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Um, as Latino,
Manuel. Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But is Manuel in the middle or the end? It's Lin Manuel Miranda,
Ross.
right? Yeah, yeah. That is. I know I said it right. I know I said it right.
Let me shut up.
But she was just mentioning that she felt it was really early in the movie coming out for there to be criticism about it. So on one hand, I totally understand her wanting to be protective of something that she identifies with, right? Like something that uplifts her heritage or culture. But on the other hand, I think that like for her to ignore the fact that there are many Afro Latinos who were probably irritated with that is completely ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
if a white person made something about like life on the Eastern Shore or some shit, and there were no black people in it, or like two
No.
black people in it. And I was like, hey, yo, this is fucked up because I know this hella niggas on the Eastern Shore. And a white person was like, let the movie come out first. I'd be like, bitch, fuck you. Like, for real. And again, I like Rita Moreno, but fuck her. Old ass
Yeah,
bitch.
the way that she said it, she was like, just let it, enjoy the moment. I was like, you can't enjoy it if it's really not the culture or it's really not what is being represented. Like
Like,
that's like
girl.
you literally making a movie about like somebody's life and like omitting them. Like,
That was just some stupid shit to say. And the funniest thing about it is she said it unprovoked. Like no one
yeah,
asked her to even talk about it. She brought it up on her own.
you
And
shot yourself in
Kimmel,
the foot.
I really think it was Kimmel, but I'm not certain. But he was just like, yeah, you mean like you understand where the people are coming from. Like he's trying to like give her an out so that she can be like, yeah, I totally get it. She was just like, this is the time, and like this is a story told by blah. And I was just like, girl, please.
You said nope. Yeah, I watched it and I was like, girl. It's sometimes it is better left to not speak about something than to speak on it. And
Yeah,
that's always
she really
my
set
thought.
herself up because literally, like, I totally get you wanting to protect this man, but you have put yourself in a position to look like an asshole.
Yeah. And now you probably are canceled, or probably people are looking at you very side eye because you chose to speak about something that was uncalled for you to speak about. She felt like she could talk about it because she is Latina.
They ain't gonna
So
cancel her all day. I love her.
they won't.
I
All
love her.
right, let's get into Legendary's last few episodes. So we had not dropped the episode in the meantime, but as you all know, Legendary has wrapped, and we have our lovely House of Miyake Mugler as the winners of season 2 of Legendary.
And congratulations to them. So I definitely think that like an episode or maybe 2 episodes before the finale, I was like, yeah, Mugler is the house to
Yep.
beat. Like I was like, they're definitely the house to beat. I definitely think that in the challenge, like the battles at the end of the last episode,
Yeah.
they didn't really give what I thought they were giving.
It's Tatiana did.
Who?
Miss Tatiana.
I disagree. I went back to rewatch what was happening, but again, I mean, I'm not in ballroom, so maybe what I was seeing was wrong. But I just
Her
I
hair
just saw her
came
throwing her
off.
body up off of the yeah. I saw that. Somebody else had done something similar. Someone else had used the emotion. They were dancing with emotion, but they weren't doing much of a like the skill or whatever. And that's
Yeah.
what I thought I saw. It was more emotion than technique. I thought that's what I saw. But again, I'm not in
Yeah.
ballroom. Maybe I don't know what the fuck I was looking at.
I always compare that to with like singers. So I say like Keisha Cole and like Mary J. Blige are definitely like emote-ease. They emote the song. Whereas there are certain people that are classically trained, like Mariah Carey, who like can have a skill, or like Whitney Houston. So I'm always like, girl, some people like, do you want the emotion or do you want the talent?
But they pick and choose. Those judges pick and choose what they want and when they want it because someone else had given emotion over technique at some point and they sent them home.
Yep. They did
So
that. They did that.
one
With
day it's
Tishy.
how much do you want it? And the next day is where's your technique?
Oh, it was with it was with the House of Garcon, Comme des Garçons, and then it was the House of Ricci.
Mm.
And it was like Ricci went home because they didn't give the same emotion as the House of Garcon.
Yeah.
Which I was like, girl, the episode before, y'all didn't even do that with Tishi and House of Ricci. So I was like, all right, I need them to be consistent with their judging, but it's also what I know is what I've heard is that they're not consistent sometimes in ballroom. It's like very much, I don't know. I can't speak on it. I don't know for real.
Yeah.
And I just said I'm not gonna speak of something I do not know. So period. So as you all may know, in the DMV area, the popular little club here, Nelly's, is closed for a temporary, space right now because of an incident of a video going viral of a girl being drugged down the stairs by security. And that has caused a stir. And one thing about Washingtonians is we do not play about our rights, girl. I'm not even a Washingtonian. But
I mean, we're DMVers. I think that counts.
DMVers. So it has been blocked off downtown.
What?
It has been blocked off. Have you never been on U Street?
No, not since that evening. I have not. It was funny because I was with David and Victor that night, and as we were walking into Nelly's, Victor was like, the girls are fighting on the stairs. You know, I'm messy. So I was like, bitch, where?
Yeah, they're
And by the
fighting.
time I got over there, it was over. Like I didn't know anything. Like the stairs were clear when I got over there, so I didn't know anything happened until I had gone to a.
Wait, so you were there? Wait. You were
Yeah,
at the club
literally,
that night?
I was at Nelly's when it happened. I literally was at the door. So by the time I got to the stairs, they had just gotten out the door, just gotten out the
Wow.
door. So I had no idea. And it wasn't until the next day when I was at a drag brunch that this lady was like, "Yeah, we're going to Nelly's," and I was like, "Yeah, girl, I'm gonna go too." And she was like, "Yeah, we're gonna protest," and I was like, "Wait, what are we?
You're like, wait,
What
what?
are we protesting?" And she was like, a girl was like dragged by her hair down the steps. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, a black woman. I was like, bitch, when the fuck did that happen? Lo and behold, bitch, it was like 2 minutes before I walked my black ass in there. I was
And you
like,
know,
ooh.
and you know, Nelly's is gonna open back up, and people are gonna go back up into Nelly's like it ain't nothing.
The girls didn't want it to close in the first place. I literally like watched people be like, well, we don't know the full story, which, okay, yeah, we didn't, but the girls just did not want to let go of Nelly. So as soon as that other video came out about like the girl fighting, they were just like, yeah, see, told you she wasn't innocent. It was so
That's like,
weird. It was so weird to watch people like jump on the opportunity to call her a liar.
I think it's also interesting too because like we don't have that many queer like clubs here in DC.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So I think that people are like, because they closed down Town, they Cobalt,
Bachelor's Mill's gone.
Bachelor's Mill. I know GL is still up and popping.
What the hell is that?
Green Lantern.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't know people called it that.
I just did that shit, girl. I don't know if that's what they call it. Then what is it? Fireplace, which I love Fireplace because that's where the
Yeah,
niggas
apparently.
at. That's where the niggas at.
Where the hell niggas at?
I gotta tell you a
Fireplace.
story. I gotta tell you a story about Green Lantern. What is it? Fireplace. After we get through all of this, because I was feeling my oats this weekend. I was really like in my fantasy, girl. I was like,
Apparently.
the girls want to touch
I'm
the
gonna be
beard.
in the house this weekend, bitch, recovering. I'm
Yeah,
so
you need to
mad.
get some rest. You need to make sure you stay on vocal rest. You know, you need to keep it moisturized and drink that vitamin C.
Lubricated.
Lubricated. So we also got news that we have our first openly active gay NFL player has
He's a
came out.
white man. He's a white man.
White. And, you know, the girls are loving it. You know, specifically the white girls. They're like, "Oh my god, yes!" I don't even know what is his name. Connor,
Girl,
Kevin,
I saw that shit on my Apple News thing, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Chad.
Yeah. Not a surprise to me that he's white.
I was like this. There also was an NFL player that was that had came out. It was a black guy. His name was Michael something. However, he became a he like Loki was like not picked up after some time.
Michael Sam.
Yeah, Michael Sam. So I'm like, now he wasn't. I was like, this girl was not the first. However, she is, I guess, the first to be active.
Yeah, to be like in the NFL. Yeah, I mean, I just don't care. But it's cool. No, I'm sorry, I really don't. Like, it's really cool that, you know, finally somebody was brave enough to admit that they like dick, because, you know, the NFL is pretty large. It's not like he's the only person, and he's probably not the only person sucking it either. I'm just saying, a lot of these people are probably in the locker room, like figuring out who they fucking, and then going right back to the parties and fucking on each other. So shout out to this white man.
Shout out to the white man. You know, congrats to him. I appreciate, you know, you doing something on Pride Month, which is also very strategic as well.
It's smart. I hope he gets hella endorsements. Like, the rest of them niggas should have been smart enough. Sorry.
So it reminds me when that guy came out that was on The Bachelorette, and now he's getting like a a Netflix series.
Wait, who did what?
There was a white guy that came out that was on The Bachelorette, and now he is, or The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, one of those shows, and now he's getting like a web series. I mean, a Netflix.
That's not ridiculous. Did he come out as bisexual or as gay?
Ooh, excuse me. Girl, last time I checked, don't shoot the messenger. I thought he said he was gay. But
bitch, do you know how irritated I would have been if that was my season of The Bachelorette? I would personally call him and cuss him the fuck out for wasting my time.
You wasted my time.
Like, that is a whole slot somebody else could have had who actually like women.
I know. And I was like, I think he was like battling with it. And I'm just like,
He wasn't battling that too hard. Too hard. He was on a reality show. That's just like when Pretty went on I Love New York. They didn't go on there for no damn love. They did that shit so they can get some money and be on TV. You
yeah.
knew you liked it. You knew that.
To me, when I watch reality shows, I'm like, who is really looking for love? Because then the Zoo started to do all those things like be Simone, I want to be my
But
boyfriend.
you know
I
good and
wanna be my
goddamn well
boyfriend
that the only reason the people on Zeus are doing it is for entertainment.
for
Because they don't
check.
even try to act like they're doing that shit for love. I will say, I believe to some degree that the Bachelorette, them people be serious. For the Bachelor, that they be like serious. But I mean, I don't watch the show, so I'm assuming. But when I watch shit like A Flavor of Love and anything on Zeus, I know that that is a complete and utter joke.
Bullshit. So I watch it and I'll be cracking it up. But shout out to that man. Hope he does good. And also does well. Sorry. Juneteenth was made a federal holiday, honey. They just said here. Here,
Wow, that was
bitches.
5 days ago.
That was 5 days ago. They was like, here, y'all take this. Y'all motherfuckers. Which to me, I was like, I don't need y'all to make that a federal holiday because like I literally don't give a fuck. I'm celebrating that shit every day. Like I'm literally celebrating my blackness and all of that every day.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll take the day off. Like, I mean, I was off that day anyway.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, but
I think there was like a Jobs restaurant or calf was celebrating that was had like fried chicken, watermelon, mac and cheese and greens as there. And I was like, girl, not the mac. I said, now the mac and cheese and the
people
greens.
always fall into that trap. They do it every time.
Why did you have to get the watermelon? And it was during Juneteenth. I was like,
You know
girl, y'all
what?
not.
You know what? I think we're just gonna have to let that go. Like, fried chicken's delicious. Watermelon is refreshing. Like,
It is.
sorry. Like, it just is what it is. At this point, we're just gonna have to be like, fuck that stereotype. I'm gonna enjoy my food and I'm gonna enjoy my fruit.
As I have fried, as I have, 'cause I haven't had fried chicken and God knows how. Well, I had fried chicken at that party. Oh shit, faced it. But I have watermelon right in my refrigerator because it is hot outside and it
Yeah.
is quite refreshing.
It's a refreshing fruit.
I just don't need those white folks to be doing
It's
that.
literally called watermelon
Melon.
because it is so juicy. It has water.
Yes, it is. And I was just like, So also, really quick, I don't know. We've talked about this off camera, but remember the video of the young man who had gay shaved like line in his hair and like his hairline was cut off. He is with the Division of Family and Children Services now. So he is safe.
So I definitely felt two ways about this, and I appreciated David for acknowledging this part of the conversation because everyone was kind of like focusing on the immediate safety part without acknowledging that like he can't stay there.
Yeah.
That like so it is really great and really important that they got him out of the very dangerous situation. I think people who tend to do things like what was done to him tend to also like physically harm their children. Like that isn't to say that shaving his head wasn't some sort of harm, but like I mean like fatally harm.
Yeah.
So it's good that they got him out of the immediate situation, but there's gonna have to be some sort of like follow-up plan to that, right? Because we don't want him to just get lost in the system. Like we don't want him to just be in a system and it's like, yeah, I'm not with my abusive parents, but now I'm at somebody's abusive foster care with some freaking kids who want to beat my ass and throw me around.
Yeah.
So hopefully, my hope is that real work is done to protect him and then put him in a safer environment. Hopefully there's someone he loves that loves him who will take him in and do that.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking like maybe he had like some friends that probably he could stay with, but their parents, have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I believe it was his like brothers and sisters that were also like contributing to like the mental, emotional, and physical abuse too. So it's like, damn, like who do I run to?
He looked like a really resilient young man too.
Yeah, because I think
the
video when it was
what it reminded me of when when the girls cry and then they go and they do that in the mirror. Bitch, that'd be me. Right after a mental breakdown, I'll be right in the mirror like,
girl, after I go through all of my crying, I'll be like, girl, let's turn up.
So with that being said, I am sure that while he is healing, that he'll be able to lift himself up. And hopefully there are people who will help lift him up as well. That's my hope and wish for him.
Yes, me too. So wishing everything is well with Tyler. I'm glad that he is there is something that is happening with what we saw. So shout out to the support and all of that. And we are going to go into our let's get comfortable, our meat and potatoes, which is going to be kind of like a free flowing type of conversation just for y'all. That's why I said in the beginning, because we have a lot that we want to talk about. And then there's also some like scenarios or stories that have happened in our lives. So wanted to use this space to definitely talk about it, see how we're feeling, you know, get into it with each other. So first off, Derwin, you had a movie screening
I
like
did.
last week. Can you come? The movie is coming. Get the
Sure.
feel.
Yeah. So that's why I was in Memphis. We went to Memphis Pride to premiere the film for the first time, which was really interesting to watch. It's great. Really loved seeing the story come together. I always feel like this weird anxiety about watching myself perform
Oh,
because I was looking at my demo reel, which is various scenes from various projects.
yeah.
As I'm watching it, I'm really, like looking down, my head like face, and my eyes are like squint, and I'm just like I feel myself tense up, and I was like, "Damn, like, can you relax?"
Girl, get comfortable.
It is
Just
so difficult for me to watch myself and not be super critical, but I will say that I ended up being comfortable with how everything turned out. Really proud of that project, and I can't
yeah.
wait to do another. Um, so yeah,
It will come soon. I just was like so proud to see the trailer, and I was glad. I was like, my girl out here doing press releases. She's out here doing tours,
yeah,
honey.
girl.
My girl gotta get her ducats and put her stuff all out here. I was like, yay! So that
Excited
was
to
really
get that
glad.
demo
Yeah.
reel
When
out
does it?
there.
When does the film drop? If y'all have a release date?
I don't think we have a release date. I think they're gonna end up doing it in August. But you know I'm moving, so I don't know if they're gonna try to squeeze it into July or not.
Oh, we're gonna have to figure something out. We're gonna have to
Yeah.
figure out how to get you back to do it. So also this last week, I was a part of a amazing book club. Shout
I
out to Let's Talk
saw.
Bruh and Jeremy. So Jeremy, the host of Let's Talk Bruh, hosts like a monthly book club. And this month, as they wrapped up their book club, they did George Johnson's All Boys Aren't Blue. And I was really interested in that conversation, in that discussing brotherhood, sexuality, all of those things, family in one. And it brought up this really like dope conversation to me about what brotherhood means to me and what brotherhood means in spaces where I sometimes don't necessarily think it's like a brotherhood, or I have not created that space. So I really appreciated like the dialogue that was happening in that, because it made me realize like I have not, because of my queerness and feeling like I can't be queer and black in certain spaces, I have not cultivated a sense of brotherhood in my mind, which is so weird because I have like you, I have Omar, I have Charles, I have all of that, but I did not realize that I've created that as a brotherhood. I was immediately looking into that conversation like fraternity brotherhood, or, you know, all of that.
Yeah, well, I think it looks different. Like there are different types of them. I had figured out one day, because the four of us sat down at the table, that like my household, my roommates and I are like a brotherhood.
Yes,
It's
y'all
like
are.
yeah, like we literally sit here and converse with each other, and like we'll have like relatively intimate conversations or just like have a good time over like drinks and food. And you realize that when you start to build that rapport with people and you actually enjoy it, and there are people who look like you, it's like, oh shit, this is a brotherhood. Look at that.
And,
We got each other's
and
backs.
and that's so funny because I think about like all these times when I've said like, oh, I don't feel like I've had this, or oh, it's hard for me to find it, but I'm like literally like I I think to me it was like the first emotion was like a space where I could be, that was like accepting of all, and not just like us being like black and queer. Like I wanted to be like, I'm black, but I'm able to be queer in these spaces. And I've always wanted, and also going into that, I heard brotherhood a lot this week. Not this week, but a couple weeks ago, because I was a part of a job interview, and it was being like a program manager for a all males cohort of some sort. And they also brought up this conversation of what is brotherhood to you, and I was so stumped.
Wow, really?
I was, and the thing about it was like, I created this platform wanting to do it and have brotherhood, but I think I was so caught up in this mindset of like a heteronormative version of
Yeah,
brotherhood
yeah.
that like I literally was like, oh my God, I don't know what the brotherhood is because I don't get along or I have not been in so many spaces with straight men.
That surprises me about you because I felt like when we met, you were more inclined to embrace things that were a little bit more heteronormative than I am.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really shocked to see
But
that.
that goes back into the space of learning or feeling like I have to be this form of gay that is not as effeminate to
Yeah.
still be accepted. So I still took on these heteronormative ideologies that some are still ingrained in me that I've naturally like took upon myself. Like for example, I have no problem paying for dates, which I went on a date and and if someone's just like, okay, I don't want to always be the one that is like dominant in relationships. I want to be submissive. So like I take on these traits, but also I have to decompartmentalize and also sit with myself and figure out what traits am I naturally like taking that are heteronormative or that are masculine presented as masculine or as more so of the like heteronormative like characteristics or traits, and then what are the ones that I'm still trying to unpack from. So I think that like I have that space. Like I'm learning to be uncomfortable and like or not get more comfortable with my queerness. Like I wore heels when I was with Anthony and we were voguing and I was girl, these are legs, honey. I was living
I know
and
that's right.
he was like, have you they were like his friends were like, have you ever wore heels? I was like, I have never wore heels. And I've always wanted to like wear put on some size 13 heels and just prance, but I just never felt that way. I felt like I wanted to be surrounded by a group of girlies who would like do it with me. So I was like, yeah. So yeah, the brotherhood conversation, I definitely was like, ooh, I definitely stuck that notion with like hyper masculinity. And like even in those spaces, I'm like, when I think of brother, I'm like, do y'all even talk about real shit? I think that was
Yeah.
my mindset. But the
Well,
book, yeah, oh, go
no,
ahead.
you go ahead. Go ahead.
But that book club, there was so much realness and honesty and so much support from Jeremy and also some of the brothers that were in that space, which I highly am definitely going to like go back to when they come back for season two. But I just wanted to like that conversation of brotherhood just kept, and
But
hopefully I'll be able to get Jeremy on.
I think that that level of intimacy is what makes it a brotherhood. I think you can't really call it that until you kind of like trust each other, like at least to like relatively talk about your problems, like, even if
Yeah.
it's just like a little bit, right? Like when I was in college, I was in a group called Brothers for Change, which eventually changed their name to One Change at a Time to be more inclusive. But the kind of brotherhood that they celebrated when I first got there really facilitated their overall success, their academic success, their personal success, and their eventual professional success. So it always seemed like something about like, and I mean particularly black men, like really
Hmm.
having each other's backs and really being there to support one another, and
Yeah.
checking them when they need to be checked, or offering assistance when they need it, holding a mirror up to them if they need that. So
Yeah, I think that, but I think that's like, is that a criteria that like is across the board, or is that the criteria that we are wanting for a space of brotherhood? Because we may think that a brotherhood should be this, but then we get into those spaces that are quote unquote brotherhoods. It's very mundane, and it's
I don't think I've ever seen people call something that they have a brotherhood and not have that. I think you'd have to really give a shit about your relationship with someone or with other people enough to call it a brotherhood. You know, like
yeah,
there are ways that men fail to hold each other accountable, and I think that can still be true in a brotherhood. But
yes.
when I think of brotherhoods, I think of fraternities. I think of like real core groups of friends who like take their friendship throughout life. But when you just see a nigga shooting the shit on the side of the street, like, and they don't be calling themselves brotherhoods, like, oh,
They, but maybe listen. I don't know. I literally was like, do you? Is there a way to form a brotherhood after you graduate from college?
oh my God, yeah, people do that. That's exactly why they join fraternities. At least the black ones. I don't know what the white people do, but
Right.
honestly, even the white people, I've seen white people
Yeah.
I graduated with who are in fraternities, and they're still really good friends now, and they were really good brothers when they were in school.
But do you is it only a fraternity that will be that space for a brotherhood? Because I feel like sometimes I can't be who I want to be because this organization at this specific chapter may not really fuck with me being queer. So it's like, how, if I don't go Greek, how do I find that brotherhood? That was a question I kept having. I was like, if I do not go this route, can there be a way to still form? Because as you get older, it starts to feel like it's like, friends are starting to like be very faint and few as they come. So I was, my ass, I'm starting to the wheels be turning, girl. I start to be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But that was a great discussion conversation. So shout out to Let's Talk Bruh for having their book clubs every month. They will be coming back for season 2, but they are taking a little break right now. But I do want to get into a conversation because this is something that's recently been in my face, and I will know your conversations about it too, is revisiting relationships, platonic or romantic, in the conversation of second chances. I specifically have recently re-interacted with one of my friends that I haven't really engaged with in a while, and I've been, for the most part, enjoying it. I enjoy being around this person. I see all the things that I what made me draw to that person. But then there's also in the back of my head is like, am I moving too fast? Am I, thinking this is the right thing? Like how do I really feel? And I want to know, let's get comfortable, girl. Let's talk about our experiences with letting people back in or revisiting, or is there criteria? Let's let's chat about it, sister.
Well, yeah. So it isn't often that I stop being friends with people. Um, at least not in a way that like I'd have to let them back in.
Yeah.
But if but I have stopped, I have ended friendships before. And I think naturally you grow apart from some people, not
Yeah.
everyone. Because sometimes you grow with your friends.
Yeah.
You grow together or you grow at different paces and you meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But when you stop being friends with someone, there's usually a reason.
Yeah.
And it's either a really petty reason that shouldn't have happened in the first place, and you both grow enough old enough to know that that was bullshit, and you find
Yeah.
your way back to each other, or there
Got
was a
you
good
right
reason,
back. Yeah.
and one of you did something foul or was not the person that they pretended to be or were,
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
and you don't really take that person back if nothing's changed.
Yeah.
But if they're showing you steps to really rectify that situation, or at least like to be able to healthily start anew, then I
Yeah.
think it's definitely worth slowly
Yeah.
giving them a second chance.
Yeah. I think that is something that is always interesting to me. A lot of my friends are always talking about, Deborah, you are always revisiting friendships. You are always circling back to conversations. You're always, you know, allowing people to speak themselves, or have like a Real Housewives like dinner for friends. But I am someone that like, I don't want to end on a very bad term. I don't want to end on a very messy type of space. Like the DMV or the spaces I'm usually in are very um like small. So I'm always like trying to figure out, ways to just be cordial and respectful. So yeah. But yeah, I think like I am always like trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm always trying to hear them out, but sometimes I always have to think like, is that is that always needed for certain spaces?
No.
And in this case, we stopped talking because I there was a situation that was not pertaining to them, but there was something that happened in their vicinity that I kind of was like, excuse me, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that, so I
You
took a
said that to
break.
them, or you said that to yourself?
I said that to myself, and then when we met up, I said that to them. I
Uh,
was like, this is the reason why I'm not, I understand the circumstances, but in that moment, I was like, you should have said something, you should have stuck up for me, blase, blase. So, yeah, that was a moment. And then also, I've like allowed like a not a partner, but someone that I was casually talking to back into my space as well. So I've been
Say the
talking
man's name.
to.
It's ready to jump out of my mouth.
He was about to jump out of whose mouth?
Mine.
I know you was. And I've been really working on agency, boundaries, and
Run that first word back. It's my favorite.
agency.
Say it again for the people.
Agency.
I know that's right, honey.
Because what I have learned, and I think a lot of people can listen that are listening here, ladies, sometimes we have a lot of unhealthy relationships in our lives that we feel like we're not in control of, that we actually are in control of. We just have to set those boundaries and stick to those boundaries and have a sense of agency and allow you to be like, I am not comfortable with this. Therefore, I am not allowing this to happen ever again or, repeat itself. I think that was something that I never created for myself. And I am now in a space where I am feeling like I can create the agency, the boundary, what I am tolerating and I'm not, because I would always give it to other people. I would literally be like, here you go, take my heart, fuck with it, take my friendship with it. But I don't know, you can determine it and you can do those things. But you like the word agency. What's up with the word?
Yeah, no. When I learned it, I was like, oh, it was really empowering for me. It's an empowering
Hmm.
word. One of the synonyms for agency is power. Having
Yeah.
power over, the way things happen in your life, over what the results that, occur in your life. So I appreciate anyone who not only learns what the word means, but actually like takes it a hold of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
No, yeah.
I'm sick.
I,
That's what it is.
I know. And I think that was something that I have been dealing with like for some time now. Like even like this weekend, girl, I'm gonna get into it. I was feeling my oats this weekend. Me and my friend, we went out. I was looking good, feeling good.
I
Got
know
some
that's right.
compliments. Got some compliments. Got people coming up to me like, "Hey, Shawty, what a do, boo?" And I'm
Oh,
like,
is that what they said? Is that
"No,
what
they
they
did not
said?
say that. They did not say that, girl. They bought me drinks though." And I was like, "All
Yeah,
right,
well, we'll take that.
we'll take that." But there was conversation afterwards, like when we hung out about what I want to do. I want to do this and do that. And I was like, absolutely no, I don't. My
I know
intentions
that's
are
right.
this, my intentions are that. I'm fine, you're good, bada bing. And it made me feel proud. It made
We're
me feel like
good.
respect. Cause I was like, girl, like, and they didn't do anything out of a disrespectful way, in a disrespectful way. It just was like, hey, you want to come back to my place? I was like, I think not. We can hang out the next day though. We can kiki and cackle, but I'm not about to go to your house tonight. And I was really feeling empowered. I was feeling like that girl. I was I was feeling like that girl. And then I think this conversation we can jump into is I've been lately feeling more confident with my body.
Yeah. Good.
And that weekend, yes, this weekend made me feel confident as well because in our first, I think on our episode that we talked about in the beginning, my mental health hasn't been the greatest. Therefore, my eating has changed and therefore I've lost some weight. And now I have been dealing with body dysmorphia and also body shaming and discomfort and what I wear and what I'm feeling. And for people that are listening, body dysmorphia can be for anybody that is tall, short, skinny, plus size,
Muscular.
huh?
Muscular.
Muscular. You are always feeling like you are not normal. You are feeling like something is off. There's something that you can always refine. There's something that somebody will point out. It is this perception that your body is not at its best, and you are trying to either find a way to do that, or you're mentally just telling yourself that you have to this is not good enough. And I've been dealing with that. And have you dealt with that? Have you ever experienced any body shaming or body dysmorphia?
All of those things. I was,
Whew.
yeah, I was fat when I was 13
Oh
years
my
old.
girl, why'd you say it like that?
Oh,
I
because
was fat.
I don't really attach I don't attach a feeling to the word fat.
Okay.
But I mean, granted, I'm not that fat, so maybe I shouldn't say it. I apologize if anyone takes offense to that, and I don't
Yeah.
mind saying. Well, what would be the word that we would use?
Plus size or extra heavier or
Both
just
of
say
all of
fat.
those sound so sweet. No, I get that they use plus size in the store, but because we call it fat phobia, which is why
Yeah.
I say fat. But anyway, I was fat when I was 13. And I love to eat. I was happy. Oh my God, I was so happy. My
Yeah.
grandmother would make this apple pie. Shout out my mom, Bev. Shout out to you. She would make this apple pie, and it was so delicious. This was like the first Thanksgiving that I spent with her and my grandfather, right before they got married. And she was like, "Hey, I've got this pie." In my mind, this is the first time I ever met this lady. Apparently, she had met me when I was very little. So I ate the pie, and I was like, "Damn, this pie's so good. I was like, can I have
Okay.
another piece?" I just kept eating it. And she married my grandfather, and I ate the fuck out of her cooking every opportunity I got.
Yes.
I sure did. So she fattened me up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was happy. Eighth grade, running around here like nothing was wrong. Then people started calling me fat. I was like, wait,
No, not my sister.
no. So yeah, girl, I was swimming with the large t-shirts on and everything. I was so scared to like wear my body out. So, eventually get into high school and I start like running and then growing. So I'm getting
Yeah.
taller and slimmer. And I kept that frame for a long time. And then in college, I gained the freshman 15, which is so weird. Like it's so weird because you don't expect it to happen, and then you realize you have 3 square meals a day that you don't have to pay for
Yes.
like every time. And
Yes.
it's like, oh yeah, bitch, I'm eating all the time. And you got food in your room, you're just eating it, eating it, eating. So
Gobble me,
sophomore
swallow me.
year, right, for real. Sophomore year came around and I could see in my face that I was super chunky.
Mhm.
So when I was in Senegal, I started running again. And from that point forward, I never got big again. What actually ended up happening was I developed really bad eating habits.
Yeah,
I would
same.
skip meals like regularly.
Ooh.
There would be days where I would be like, damn, did I eat? And I'd be like, yeah, I guess I had like a snack or something, but I would skip lunch, I would skip dinner. And it really got worse in Costa Rica. Because as much as I love my host mother, she did not use seasoning in her food. And I'm at a point now where I'm like, I'd rather not eat. If I'm not going to enjoy my meal, I would literally rather just not eat. And I did
Right.
it so often that I had come back and I was just like so tiny.
Oh my God.
And I stayed that way for a long, long time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it had become something I was like going out of my way to do.
Oh my God. See, like I've recently, like, so growing up, I've always been like lean and like tall and oblong to me, I would say. So I've always been like up and down. Um, and I've always felt like uncomfortable with that. I've always felt like I don't have enough meat on my bones. I don't have, I want to be muscular. I look like a very much a plank. But when I started to like work out in high school, I literally like, and I grew into who I was. I started to feel more confident because I was consistently working out and consistently feeling the greatest. College girl, that went out the window. The body, I was like, I had a dad bod. And I'm not saying that my body was ever like really like heavy, or I was very comfortable in who I was presenting. My eating habits was trash. Eating habits was very trash. So fast forwarding to now, I have been my mental health. Therefore, there was high blood pressure in the conversation. Therefore, I took the initiative to cut out a lot of different foods in my diet. And with that happening, I also developed a form of like an eating disorder because with
Yeah.
me cutting out certain foods, I also cut out meals like in its whole.
Yeah.
So I started to eat oatmeal 3 times a day. I would make one bowl of oatmeal, try to last the whole day, and I would go to bed starving. I would eat like fruits, and I would eat like very much things that I was not. If I was not aware of what I was putting in my body, I would avoid it as much as possible. Um, until there was friends that started to notice me doing that, and that kind of like made me very emotional because it was something I was doing in secrecy. Like around friends, I would always bring my own food. I would always, be like, oh yeah, I already ate before I got here, and really I'm hungry as fuck, but I'm like not feeling comfortable with eating, or because of my anxiety also be like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm eating. I'm gonna have a panic attack because I don't know if I'm gonna, you know. So it really got to a point around my birthday when I was getting new clothes for my birthday party, and I was realizing I could not fit half of the shit that I was buying.
Wow.
And I could not try it on because the COVID restrictions. So I literally put on my first pair of pants and cried I called Charles and cried.
Oh.
I said,
Oh.
I don't know what happened. Knowing I know what happened, I am literally looking sick. And that was one of the moments where I started to be like, I gotta fix something. I gotta, granted, you are gonna lose weight when you cut out certain like things. Like I stopped eating like cheese, and I stopped eating fried chicken and putting sauces on my food. But then I also was like starving myself because I was only eating small portions of things that would only be like one serving.
Yeah.
And that was bad because I also still had even worse anxiety. I literally felt tired all the time. I literally like on high alert. And also I wasn't aware of what to put in my body. Like I was like, okay, I know fruit, I know vegetables,
Oh, nutritional.
but I didn't know I needed to still put protein. I was afraid to eat like meat. I was literally like, girl, if I eat,
You weren't doing seafood either.
I was dealing with seafood, but I was afraid that like it would just something would happen. I'm like eating the wrong things and it like go down wrong, or my body would just not react well to it. So
At my healthiest, I was eating a lot of beans. Because I cut out like red meat a long time ago, and then I had cut out chicken for like 2 years.
yeah.
Um, good time. Um, so I did a lot
Yeah.
of research about how to get protein in other ways. Um, so body dysmorphia is really interesting. And I wouldn't necessarily say that had an eating disorder, but I definitely experienced disordered eating.
Thank you.
I think it's important to differentiate between the two, because I think people, when they aren't quite anorexic or they aren't quite bulimic, right? They think, oh, nothing's wrong. But there's a pattern of disordered eating that really defines whether you like need to change your behaviors or not. And missing meals is an
Disordered.
example of that. We've seen
Yeah.
extreme examples of anorexia, and because people don't get to that point, they really do think like, oh, I'm fine. But missing meals is not okay. Like you should have like at least 2 a day. And so the fact that I was eating one or none is honestly ridiculous and
Mhm.
completely unacceptable. And we have things like tummy teas. What is it?
Yeah,
What
small
is that
ways. And
called?
like there's a lot of diets.
Flat
that,
tummy
like,
teas. Yeah.
yeah.
All those things are really awful for you. And all because we've made being fat a bad thing. Like people can
Hmm.
be healthy and be fat. Like, huh, how about that? Did you know?
Yeah. And that's the
Um,
thing.
yeah. People don't think about that. So like people like me develop body dysmorphia because we don't want to be fat. But then there are people who develop body dysmorphia because they don't want to be small.
Me.
So yeah, like it's like I don't want to be skinny and like sickly, but like our bodies like are they come the way they come, and we can do work to keep them healthy, right?
Yeah.
We can also do work to change them, but we just shouldn't hate our bodies for the way that they are.
Yeah.
And it's really yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, I would say I agree with that. I think a lot of people, I think right now I am the healthiest I've ever been since I want to say probably like high school. And I should be happy with that. I should be like, listen, if you want to gain weight, you can gain it back in the right way, like gaining muscle or, gaining all of the whatever, the right type of fat, the healthy fat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I agree with that. I think we need to be, if there's some things that you need to change because of medical reasons, if you need to lose weight because of your health, and if you want to lose weight because of self-confidence, I believe, you to do that. But then also with the confidence part, think about like, if you lose weight, will you still feel better afterwards? Because I know sometimes
Well, that's the
it
problem of shaping your body in the middle of body dysmorphia. It's never
yeah,
gonna be enough. You're never gonna get to a point where you're like, good.
it's so interesting. Like it's so interesting to like see that because like with me, like when I realized that like I was like skinny, I was like ashamed. I was like I couldn't fit anything. I was like uncomfortable with what I was wearing. Like I literally just felt like, okay, now you've lost the weight. Now you want that weight back, but how do you get it back? But
My
not.
God. No, that's me and the exact opposite. So I was watching My First Love with Charles and Relapses, right?
Mhm.
I'm looking at this one scene and I come across the screen. I'm watching it on a large television. And I was like, oh my God, am I that small? And
Yeah.
people say that the camera adds like 10 pounds. So I was like, bitch, if it adds that much, I need to gain like 15 or 20 because I was so small. And so, I convinced myself that I needed to get bigger. And then I did.
Yeah.
Like I gained like a healthy 6 to 7 pounds. And
Yes.
then I was like, bitch, I need to lose this weight.
It's
Like
like
I
going
told
back.
myself, like, because I mean, I haven't worked out since last year, unfortunately.
You
The
haven't like worked out
winter.
at all?
Oh my God, no. You remember I was running so much last year. When I tell you
Yes,
this year has been a
you would
complete 180 from last
run.
year, I really mean that. Like I'm having to get myself together.
Yeah.
I stopped running because the winter time, which obviously sent me into like many
Me-
people, some form of a depression. And when it got warmer, I did not start running because I was in a worse depression. So
Mhm.
yeah, I haven't gotten back to working out. And this weekend when I was in Memphis, the whole group, everybody I was with, was like relatively toned. And now granted, he is the
Bro,
body.
you're I was
She
like, girl,
is okay, because I wore my little nude swimsuit and the girls was really lauding over this ass. But nonetheless,
you
I
have a
fell
big butt,
into a
girly.
trap. Thank you.
You have a fat butt. I have one too.
No, that's right. But I got into comparing my body to other people's.
Yeah.
And that was where those like feelings started to trigger up again. And I kind of had to like, I was still kind of having to talk myself out of it because literally I could just do some sit-ups and do some push-ups and
Yeah.
actually work out and I would have a relatively toned body, but I haven't done that. So I take the responsibility for that. But I also am not going to punish myself for that. Like I do love my body. I like to
Yeah.
touch it. Look, I still touch myself the same way, child.
Do you touch yourself at night? Hey, I just made that up, by the way. No, I think I am in a space of loving the new and improved me. And of course, if I wanted to gain weight, absolutely I can. If I wanted to, but I think mentally I really that'd be the weirdest thing ever because like my anxiety would be in high gear. If I like just add more, I can work out, of course, more. But the thing I was doing also, I was doing a lot of cardio.
Me
When I
too.
tell you,
Oh
girl,
my God, I love cardio.
I
I
was a
kid.
runner. I was a runner, so I loved it. However, I wasn't doing balanced workouts. We could run all day. I wasn't like eating. I mean, I wasn't putting like but muscle work or like what's it called, like lifting or anything. I was just like run all day. And I was like, and I also had a little bit of body dysmorphia this weekend, but then I started to realize like the guys were liking me and they were thinking I was cute. And I was like, "Ooh, you got your body right." And I also like wore a shirt that like opened up and like had myself out there. So I was practicing like
You
loving.
have a nice body.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I every morning I wake up and I have to realize that you're going to be skinnier in the morning. I'm like, oh my God. I used to look at myself and be like, you look sick. Like I
Wow.
literally,
I'm
and
sorry.
it was moments when people would be like, you've lost weight and I would literally go cry. Like, because I was
I'm
like,
so sorry.
yeah, it was the weirdest thing. But I had to realize you're not losing weight too fast. You're losing weight because you're cutting out things. And also like, you're not looking sick. Like you're just looking smaller than what you usually have. And I had to
Did someone tell you
a
that you looked sick? Did you get that from somewhere?
no, I didn't get that from nowhere. Nobody told me I looked sick. I
Where the hell
thought I
did you get
looked
that
sick.
from?
I thought I looked sick because I was look when you wake up in the morning, I wake up in the morning, I look at myself in the mirror and I literally look at things and I'm like, oh my God, your head looks bigger than your body, your whole body, or nobody told me I looked sick at all. just to put that out there. When I was hearing people say I was skinny or you look smaller, I was implying that that meant I was sick because I knew what I was doing to my body.
It's just so
Because
interesting. It's
yeah,
interesting where these things come from for us. Like the fact that you and I have opposite experiences with this, that you don't want to be, or like historically don't want to be too small, and I historically don't want to be, I should put quotes around this, like quote unquote too big. Um, and the way that we see ourselves, right?
yeah,
Like we literally see that when we look in the mirror, that's what we see. Like I
yeah,
looked at a picture of myself. I took pictures this weekend. I haven't posted them because I didn't like my arm. I know. And I was looking at it and I was like, there's no definition in that arm. I was like, are you so big? And I
yeah.
was like, hey, whoa, calm down. Like this
It's
very day, people are like, and even if they didn't laud over how fat my ass is, like, girl, you're in your body, like, love it. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I was really ready to give myself like the blues for that shit. Like, girl,
yeah.
please.
And I think it's the way we think about these things. And I think it's the behavior and the thoughts, the feelings, the behavior, and also social media, of course. But I
Yeah.
think if we start to say positive things about ourselves and we look ourselves in a mirror and start to realize like this is a body that God gave me. I can always add weight, I can gain weight. But like at the end of the day, I'm not going to be happy with something because of the way our sometimes our brains work. We need to find healthy medians,
Yeah.
right? We need to find different ways to look at it. Because like for me, I'm like, okay, you're not sick. Okay, you've lost weight because of the logical reasons. If you want to put on weight, you can put on healthy weight, but you're not. You look good. You know, people have told me I looked good. I think it's the way we need. We need to start saying it to ourselves. You know, like we need to really start saying the positive things instead of looking in the mirror. Oftentimes we look in the mirror to find flaws and not perfection. I mean, not perfect. Sorry, we look in the mirror to look at flaws, but not what we are like. What we give to people. So, or not what we give to people, but what is really what we like about ourselves. So I really think about that a lot.
I will say that when I had decided at that point that I wanted to gain weight, I knew it would be difficult. I knew that I would do everything in my power not to.
Yeah.
So what I had tried to do was say affirming words to myself and my body. And I would be
Mm-hmm.
like, I'd look at my little stomach and I'd be like, I love you, stomach. And so I'd keep on eating.
Okay.
Like, and I would just be like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm double tapping. I want you to
Oh
finish.
yeah, like I felt like if I just actually started to, I mean, so naturally there's wobbling. There's some wobbling. That's what this issue is that because this is something I've had to battle before, like even as this natural like weight gain progresses, I'm going to have to get used to it. Like I'm going to have to accept it and embrace it. Because my overall goal was to gain the weight so that I could work on bulking up at some point.
Yeah.
I could get used to it. Again, I'd have to work out in order for that to happen, but nonetheless.
Yeah. I hate working out. I literally hate it.
But you
I
know what? I didn't last year. It's
I
like,
think for me, I want fun ways to work out, right? I like do like dancing classes or like
yeah.
Zumba. I love yoga. I love to do yoga. I love mindfulness, anything. So those type of things I like that are fun.
I
But
used to love Pilates because it's hard as shit at first, and then you're like, yeah, look at that core.
yeah,
That core is getting there.
I I think also for me, I started to create I had to revisit my relationship with food and I had to um work on that before I could like try to figure out like, oh my God, do you want to add you feel this skinny, what is going on? I needed to first go back into the root of it, which was me having this fear of something happening to me. Therefore, I needed to mm, I had to start practicing not counting trust my body when I'm full, not calories. I was counting like my sodium and my sugars and all that stuff like that. Um, I need to trust my body when I'm full and when I'm not full, and then also allow myself things in moderation. I think that was something that I did not give myself. I was not allowing myself to have treat meals. I was thinking that like I could not, and that was in turn sufferable. Like I would see people eating, and the only time I did not have that moment was at my birthday. On my birthday, we was at all you can eat buffet. I think I was like, girl, it's your day. After that day though, I did feel regret. I did feel, bad. And I feel like I worked out like 3 times a day after that. But I definitely think it's looking at yourself in the mirror and being proud of what you have in front of you that really should be talked about and discussed. And also that really I think that body dysmorphia thing, think about where that came from and how to have agency over that. I
Yeah,
think that is
sometimes you have to
something
work
that,
that out in therapy.
yes, that is true. Because it could be growing up, your parents were telling you you're too big and you're too skinny or you're not good enough, and then you develop disordered eating or eating disorder, or then
Yeah.
it's
Some people learn to overeat or undereat because of a sense of control, like whatever
hmm
it was. So it might not be someone directly telling them that like they're too anything. It might simply be like they didn't have a lot of control over their lives and their lives were unstable as they were younger. And so eating a lot or eating very little gave them some sense of agency over their lives.
so I can
Um,
control what I'm eating.
yeah, yeah. Like this is something that I know, like there's a direct consequence for my action, and this is something that I get to decide about my life.
Yeah, I think also like our emotions too. Depression can lead us to overeating or undereating as well. A lot, like sometimes when you're depressed, you may skip meals. And sometimes when you're depressed, you may eat more than you are technically supposed to consume. So it's
Yeah.
like a lot of factors that play,
Medication.
huh?
Medications do it all the time.
Med-
Antidepressants, there are a lot of antidepressants that will cause weight gain, and there are some that will cause weight loss.
it's just,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I didn't think about that because I am
Uh,
starting to think about those things. But I definitely think, yeah, I am working through mines day by day. I think I went into the mirror this weekend. I was like, yes, bitch,
oh, that's
you
great.
look good. I can actually like now feel confident in a like a bikini, like y'all be wearing a little
I
bikinis.
know that's right.
I feel like I didn't feel like I could do that before, but now I feel like I can like do that, and I'm like really like, yeah, come on, girls. But no, I think what I want us to like take away from this conversation and me talking about, second chances briefly, and then also talking about like body dysmorphia and body shaming is really owning the power in those spaces and really being able to have, like we said, agency and understanding what you are able to do. And if you're not able to do something, let that be and understand that like you've done all the things that you can. You can't like, you know, um, try to work it into the bone. If you know what I'm trying to say, like there's things that you can control and there's things that you cannot control. You can't control your weight. You want to add weight, you want to lose weight at the end of the day, but it is also your mind. And then with second chances, you can allow people back into your space if you feel comfortable with allowing them in, as long as you feel like you have agency in both your friends or your body.
Yeah.
What do you want to say? What do you have to say?
No, I just think we're all kind of on this journey together, trying to figure out what's
Mm,
best for ourselves. Like, and really getting comfortable in our own skin. Some of us are better at it than others. I know I could get a lot better at it. But it definitely takes practice and it takes self-affirmation. And I think we really just have to interrogate when we don't like our bodies, where we're getting that from. And then we have to work really hard to, even if we want to change our bodies, even if we do ultimately want to change them, that we can't hate our bodies into
yeah.
perfection. We can't hate our
Oh,
bodies into perfection.
that's a good one. That is a good one. You try to keep, because some people go into a spiral is still not good enough. We're
Yeah.
like, I need to keep losing weight, or I need to add implants, or I need to do this, add more muscle. And then it's just like, also like think about your health
Yeah.
in the end.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you have to think of your health. If you're this is not healthy, you need to stop or whatever the case. Oh, that's good though. Um, don't hate yourself into that. Wow. Well, thank you for joining in on this conversation about our bodies and all of that stuff. I think I learned a lot about myself and I learned a lot about you, and then also wanted to have this conversation with our listeners because I do believe there's somebody out there that may be feeling the same way as we do and things of that nature. So I appreciate you talking about it as well, and also appreciate you all for listening to this episode. If you all would like to continue the conversation with me on my platforms, you can hit me up on my Instagram and Twitter at _Lord Every. That is _LordEvery.
And you guys know that you can find me on Instagram at Derwin King. That's DERWINKING. And on Twitter at Free Negro. That's FREENEGREAUX.
And you all can continue the conversation on the podcast platform on Instagram and Twitter at That Black Boy Joy. And if you would like to write in or be a guest on the show, you can hit us up at That Black Boy Joy Podcast at gmail.com. And you also can check out our videos on YouTube as well. That is That Black Boy Joy on YouTube as well. And like we always say, please be so in love with who you are.